wait till the end of this video and you'll see her smile, but you won't see her smile and laugh until the end, so stay tuned to the end. Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60 and Yumi. She's camera shy, but that's okay. She'll get over it. You're gonna see a lot more of her in the videos to come. The video today is about the difference I see between Nanning City, a city of 9 million people, where I live in China, and where I live here in Gweilo in the Philippines. Not just Gweilo. Gweilo, you see, is about 250,000 people. And we've been spending a lot of time in San Jorge, where Yumi actually has a home. And that's about 17,000 people?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 17,000 people. So there's a big difference. The biggest thing I notice is the infrastructure. Infrastructure here is not as good as China. It's light years behind type thing. There's no high-speed trains. There's no subways. The airports are not. The airports are terrible. They're worse in Canada, if you can believe that, Canadians. You know, the roads aren't very good. And when you get into China, all of those things are state-of-the-art. So the Philippines loses hands down on that. But that said, the Philippines has a characteristic about it that it's how do I say this? It's money poor, but it's rich in natural beauty.
Yeah.
You're on islands. It is nice here, isn't it? So, you know, you give up one and you get the other, which is sort of nice. The people in both countries are happy. They're always happy to see you, and they're always curious about foreigners. And there's no difference here than China in that aspect. One of the things that I really noticed a lot is that there's lots of dogs on the streets here in the Philippines. We used to have lots of dogs on the streets in China, but they got scooped, and along with dogs comes chocolate bars on the street. They're not really chocolate bars. Well, they are for the flies, but and roosters everywhere, or cocks everywhere. And you don't have to have an alarm clock here in the Philippines.
Right.
Okay? In China, you do hear the roosters every once in a while, but they're way off there. And in China, they're in apartments, not in houses. Here, there's 20 or 30 going off at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning, so it's hard to sleep past 5 o'clock. And when the roosters start crowing and the dogs start barking, and you're awake. It's just the way it is. And another thing that I've noticed is getting visas, getting driver's licenses, things like that here in the Philippines is much easier than China. Oh yes, it is. All you Chinese people out there. See, when I land in the Philippines, I'm visa free for 30 days, 29 days. And then going to get a visa extension cost 3,000 and just over 3,000 pesos, which is pocket change. I think it's 75 bucks Canadian. And no, it's not. Anyway, it's not a lot of money anyway. And it takes 15 minutes to get an extension, a 30-day extension. Next time I go in, I can get a 60-day extension. So getting a visa and getting an extension here is simple. Also, getting a driver's license. I got a driver's license here the other day, and that didn't take me more than an hour and a half type thing to get a driver's license in the Philippines. Still haven't got my motorcycle license because they've got an engraver problem or something like that. So I have to wait because they can't make the actual licenses. But for visas and getting licensing for driving and stuff like that, the Philippines is much easier. Further ahead than China, I think, just for the fact that it comes with such ease. And the food. Let's talk about the food here. Well, the food isn't as good in the Philippines as it is in China. China has such a variety, but the cost for meat and whatever is about the same in both countries. But when it comes to veggies and fruit, well, the Philippines is fruit impaired. Let's just say that. They've got oranges, but they're dry. Their apples are really good. You know, they've got pineapples and they've got bananas that grow everywhere, and coconuts and stuff like that. But in China, when you go to the wet market, you have every fruit known to man, and they're all very inexpensive, and they're everywhere. Here, fruit is expensive, vegetables are expensive, and by far, China wins on the food thing, because the food in China is so much healthier than it is here. And you know, the restaurants in China have a bigger variety. So yeah, I'd say China, as far as food, is way better. Also, one of the things that I've noticed is here in the Philippines, you have lots of expats. They're everywhere, and they come from Australia, they come from the UK, Canada, United States. There's a lot of ex-military here in the Philippines. I noticed that, where maybe they've been stationed here in the past and they liked it, and after they retired they came back, type thing. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of expats here. And another thing that I noticed going to the gym with Steve, an Australian, that when I went to a gym in China, they refused me because I was over 60 years old. Age discrimination is a real thing in China for us old guys. And do you discriminate against me because I'm old? No. How come you're not speaking? You usually speak loud, and now you're shy. It's just a camera. Cameras don't bite, you know that, right?
Maybe next time I'll used to it.
Maybe next time. So, and going to a gym here, they welcome me with open arms because they're going to make a buck off you. So the Philippines beats China hands down with this one, like hands down every time. Another one of the things that I've noticed here is the noise pollution in the Philippines is way more than in China. See, in China, everything is electric. Electric motorcycles, electric scooters, electric cars, electric big trucks, electric buses. Everything is electric. Here, there's not a lot of electric stuff here, and they pull the baffles out of their bikes. It's annoying as hell, but it is the way it is. Now, cost of living in each country, and this is something that's important. The cost of living in China is a lot less than the Philippines, and I thought this was a little strange, just for the fact that you know, Philippines is by far a poorer country than China is, and I thought that, you know, renting apartments, you know, going out to restaurants, you know, just doing your regular stuff, hooking up water, hooking up power, your power bills here are like 3 or 4 times more expensive than they are in China, and I don't understand that. Maybe because we're on an island out in the middle of frickin' nowhere, it's harder to supply these things, costs more to supply. There's economies of scale, where there's only 119 million people in the Philippines, and there's 1.4 billion people in mainland China. But I've noticed that from rent to gasoline to just buying everything and anything and everything except for meat products is way more expensive here in the Philippines than it is in China. Homes in China against homes here in the Philippines. There's a big difference here. In China, you're talking apartments, high-rises, all brand spanking new. The sewer systems are good, the electrical is good. There's no brownouts in China. There used to be, but that's a big problem. We woke up the other morning and our fan goes off, and you know it's hot outside, and you start to sweat, and you don't, because I'm not a big air conditioner person. I very seldom turn the AC on, but a fan is necessary. So, but in the Philippines, you get, well, in the background here, nice backgrounds too. You can get shacks where people live in terrible conditions, and you can get people that live in really nice houses here. The norm is most of the people live below a standard that a Chinese person would live in, except for maybe in rural China, because in rural China they live in the same type of housing, just about exactly the same type of housing. But the big difference is that the people in the Philippines live in a home with a yard, a backyard. They've got, you know, they've got that home. You don't have a neighbor crawling down the stairs at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, clomp, 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 or yelling and screaming and stuff like that. You get a lot of that in China, where, you know, you're living so close, and it's because there's so many people. Here, the houses, some places, like your house in San Jorge, is really close to a bunch of other people, and you could, oh yeah, and it's not always that quiet either, because the karaoke here is off the scale, and they like to play their music loud and stuff. So there's that noise pollution too, again, in the Philippines, where they don't really care what the neighbor thinks about their loud music. Your sister and her husband were playing music the other day, really loud, and they were playing Air Supply, and I thought, that's Air Supply, and she said, yes it is. And I thought, why would anybody be playing Air Supply? You know what I mean? Like, that's just, it is, you know. But the idea that the Filipino people live in houses, and the Chinese live in apartments, I give it to the Philippines, even though the housing is not as nice, doesn't have, you know, you've got to have your own septic tank here in the Philippines. Even if you're in the city, you got to put in a septic tank. The water comes and goes. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. But the idea of having a house, your own land, a backyard, like we're putting a fence around her backyard in San Jorge. Here's what I mean about no baffles. And you gotta ask yourself, why would they do that? What is it? Because they have small peckers, or what? You know what I mean? Is this the same thing as a guy from rural North America with a big 4x4 diesel truck, because you know he's got a small pecker? Well, I guess that could be. But when it comes to homes in the Philippines, I would rather live in a house than an apartment. And everybody that watches my videos has seen my apartment in China, and I stay to the 7-level older apartments because I don't want to be stuck in a 33-story high-rise where, you know, there's how many people per square meter and stuff like that. So I give the Philippines kudos on this one, just for the fact that it may look poor, it may be poor, but you're in your own home, and it makes a big difference. So these are just some of the differences that I've seen here in the Philippines as compared to my life in China. And when you get to the rural areas, you've got the rice fields, you've got the farming communities, you've got the farmers that work harder than the city folk. You've got all of the things that are so similar, because the people here in the Philippines are similar to the Chinese people. They have the same type of life. They look at the world basically the same. Especially in southern China, where you really don't have a winter and stuff like that. So I fit in here. As soon as I landed in the Philippines, I sort of fit in here because I've been an expat for so long, and I sort of, this is the world that I sort of lean towards. So the Philippines or China, they both have their good, they both have their bad, but I'm not sure which one I prefer yet. So we'll leave that for another video down the road. Which one do you prefer? The Philippines, because you're a Filipino.
Because I'm Filipino.
Yeah, see, we finally got her to smile at the end of the video. So maybe I'll put a little thing in the front of the video saying, wait till the end of this video and you'll see her smile, but you won't see her smile and laugh until the end, so stay tuned to the end. I'll put that in the front of the video. Anyway, that's another video from Gweilo 60 and Yumi here on the streets of Calbayog, or just outside of Calbayog. Rural, beautiful palm trees, coconuts, rice fields, and oh, one last thing. And the Philippines wins this one. Like, China can't even get close to competing with Red Horse beer. Chinese beer is not very good. The best one that they have is Wusu beer out of Xinjiang Autonomous Region, way up in the northwest area, right on the Kazakhstan border where I was here about a month ago. But it doesn't hold a candle to Red Horse beer. San Miguel here, you know, the highfalutin places have that, and I don't much like it. But the Philippines wins in the beer department every time. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 comment, subscribe, hit that share button, don't forget to resubscribe, hit the bell, and until next time, peace out. Thanks for watching from Gweilo 60 and Yumi. Bye now.